Hey everyone, this is Matt, and in today's video I have for you a Labrynth deck profile, this time post Photon Hypernova. So yes, today is the first day of the new ban list, right? It's February 13, and the second the new ban list became live, I immediately went to my locals, my Monday locals. There were 32 players there today. It was more packed than it has been in a while. No surprise, surprise. People hated the tier format. And yeah, I went undefeated with Labrynth. So I know a lot of you have been like anxious about this deck profile because there's a bunch of new cards, there's a new ban list. What should you play in Labrynth? The last profile I put like a few weeks ago is already out of date, right? It's no bueno anymore. So what do you do? So I was actually so first I was hesitant about putting this deck profile out. Not because it's bad or anything, and it's not like I didn't lose any matches with it. It's just that uh, it feels like it needs a lot more playtesting and refining. Again, this is the first day of a brand new format, right? It's like there's going to be a lot of changes over the course of the next couple months with the format, where people are going to realize what's good, what's not. Like is Adventure going to become staple in Cashier? How good are Bishals going to be? Like blah, blah blah, all this stuff. Like is Tier going to be? Is there going to be a way to actually make Tier viable? Um, so yeah, I do think I would have probably preferred to make this video after going undefeated in a couple more locals. So I'm going to locals again on Wednesday. It's at another place, and then on Saturday at another place. But I don't know. I feel like people have been anxious, and since it's like there's a lot of new stuff going on, it's probably best to at least put something out there, so y'all have somewhere to get started. Um, so yeah, but I'm still gonna be playtesting it. After playing today, there were already like some changes that I thought about, some cards that I think might be going very soon. I might be swapping out with other cards. But anyway, let's get into it. I feel like I have enough of the deck ready, good to go, that I can go ahead and just talk about it. All right, so before we begin, this playmat, I got it in on eBay. So if you ask, don't. I'm not gonna give you a link. Just go on eBay, type Labrynth playmat. It's gonna be something like this. This is the least thirsty, least booby one, right? This field center, which is like I'm pretty sure it's like custom made or whatever. It's like holographic. Also got on eBay. Just literally go on eBay and search Labrynth Field Center. There's a lot of them. Some with more boobs than others. Anyway, uh, these cards, the sleeves, these are the Dragon Shield matte silver for the main and side deck, and then for the extra deck, I have the Dragon Shield matte white. Um, and the deck does look a little fatter because yeah, I do double sleeve. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the main deck. I'm gonna do this profile similar way that I did in my last one, where I'm gonna break down piece by piece. We're gonna start with the Labrynth Core. Okay. All right. So we're starting with 2 copies. That's right. 2 copies of Lady Labrynth of the Silver Castle. Wait a minute. 2 copies? On my last profile, you're running 3 copies. And yes, this one here is a Starlight, for those of you wondering. Yeah, so this card is your main boss monster. It's probably a big reason why this deck is good. And we are only running 2 of them. And the reason we are running 2 of them is because now that we have way more easier access and ability to special summon our Labrynth monsters from places other than the deck, so we can special from hand, we can special from graveyard, right, and the deck. 2 is all you really need at this point. Like, she's very easy to summon, so let's go through her effects. So, first of all, first effect, very important. If you control a set card, she cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So, very important. Try to set cards before bringing her out, and just in case your opponent has anything. Yeah, so she can't be Verilator, can't be Imperm, can't be Druis Worm. Don't forget, if they have Bishil Druis Worm, they'll try to take her out. They can't do it, right? Kashtira Fenrir cannot take her out. Yeah, she's immune to a lot of stuff. Just have a set card. That's all you need. Okay, so each of her other effects, which are all hard once per turn. If a Labrynth card or effect or normal trap card was activated this turn, okay, so this turn, not recently or not, it's not a right, it's this turn. You can activate her effect to special summon her onto the field in defense position. So you normal Ariana, you activate her effect. You can Lady is now alive to be specialed. That also means if Ariana, let's say normal Ariana, you activate Ariana effect, she gets Ash, she gets Village, she gets Imperm. It still doesn't matter. It was activated. Even if the effect was negated, you can still summon her. You activate the Labrynth Field spell. That counts as activating a Labrynth card. You can activate her. Your opponent plays. Let's see. Activates Imperm, right? On your if your opponent tries to Imperm one of your cards, right? That's a normal trap card. You can special her. So she's very, very easy to special. Like, she's very free. You open her in opening hand, it's very easy to get her out. So don't worry about that. Has to be a normal trap card, so no floodgates, right? Next effect. When a normal trap card is activated, quick effect, you can set one normal trap with a different name directly from your deck. So basically, whenever a normal trap card, by the way, just like the other effect, either side of the field, either player can meet the conditions, right? Your opponent activates a Imperm, you can chain her to set another card. Your opponent attempts to activate Blackout. Your opponent attempts to activate, I don't know, any normal trap. You can chain her, right? Just keep in mind that when you chain Lady Labrynth, her chain link must be immediately following the normal trap that was activated. So if you activate a normal trap, your opponent has a chance to respond. So if they chain something like a Bestial, right, then you can no longer chain her because she has to, one chain link down from her immediately has to be a trap. So you can't do normal trap 1, their opponent's Bestial 2, and then Lady 3. You can't do that. You have to do normal trap 1, Lady 2, or normal trap 2, Lady 3. If normal trap is chain link X, Lady must be chainlink X plus 1. So very, very straightforward. Alright, so let's get back. Yes, 3000 attack beater, 2900. Let's get back to the fact that I'm only running 2 here. Because you go out to other YouTube videos, channels, you see people running 3. You're just saying, oh, of course, she's your best boss monster. Why wouldn't you run 3? So the reason I don't want to run 3 of her is because, 1, if you open 2 of her in your opening hand, one of them's a brick because you can only summon 1 of her, per turn anyway, right? So it's let's say you'll have 2 of her plus 3, you're setting 3 passing. So the probability of seeing 2 in your opening hand significantly goes down if you only have 2 in your deck. 2 in your deck means you want to see her in your hand sometimes, but you very rarely want to see both in your hand. It's very rarely going to happen. It's a 1% or less or something. It's incredibly low if you're running 2 copies that you'll see both of them. Whereas if you're running 3 copies, then the chance to see 2 in your opening hand almost triples or quintuples. It's much, much higher than if you just had 2 copies. And also, I never needed the 3rd copy. I won games with just 2. I won Undefeated with just 2. I never needed a 3rd lady. Just didn't need it. The game was over by the time I had 1 or 2 ladies. Ask yourself, do you realistically need the 3rd one? Are you ever going to see it? By not having the 3rd one, I have more room in my deck for other cards, for good trap cards, for good tech options, for side decking, right? So why do I need 3? I already wanted to cut her down to 3 before, but because we were in the tier format where your opponent forces you to mill, and we didn't have Big Welcome Labrynth, which is a card that allows you to special from the graveyard, it was a lot worse to have her you kind of needed 3 because of that. But now that tier... I don't want to see tier anymore, and I've been playtesting online. So I didn't just play this deck for the first time, today at my locals. I also been playtesting this online. Never needed the 3rd copy. Trust me, you do not need the 3rd copy. Play with 2 copies, and you will see you will not miss the 3rd copy. In fact, your hand will be you'll have fewer bricks in your hand, and you'll have more room for other cards. Okay, so trust me on this. 2 copies is all we need. Remember when we played Eldritch, we only needed 2 Eldritch? Same logic. We only need 2 ladies. She's very easy to special summon. And yeah, and if she gets outed or goes to graveyard, we have ways to get her back. So, yeah, don't worry about it. We're also running 1 copy of Lovely Labrynth of the Silver Castle. So this card is kind of a brick. You don't want to see her in your hand ever. So that's why we only run 1 of her. Because she's a lot less versatile than Lady, lot harder to summon. Although thanks to the new support that we got in Photon Hypernova with the big welcome Labrynth, if she's in her hand, it's not as bad, but it's still like pretty bad. But she's really good. Let's read her what she says. So your opponent can activate monster effects in response to activation of your normal trap card. So continuous effect literally prevents your opponent from responding, right, to your normal traps with monster effects. So that means if she's on the field and you play a welcome or whatever, they cannot ash you. Like they just can't. Or you use like automatic punishment or like compulsory on the enemy Baron de Fleur. Baron cannot chain the negate, right? So please do not forget that this effect exists because it's really fucking good. It's really good, right? All right, next, her other effects. You can use each following effects of Lovely once per turn. You can target a normal trap card in your graveyard, set it to your field. And it cannot be activated unless you control a field monster. So she can literally recycle traps in the graveyard. You target a trap, you set it, and then you can just do that every turn. It's pretty cool. And her last effect, which is probably the most powerful, although that recycling a trap every turn is really powerful. It says, if another monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, except during the damage step, you can destroy one card in your opponent's hand at random or their field. So she has a non-targeting pop for opponent's hand or field if a monster leaves the field by a normal trap. So this is on resolution. So it's a trigger effect that happens on a new chain, right? Whereas both of Lady's effects are quick effects that must happen on the same chain. New chain, same chain. All right? Please don't mess that up. Yeah, so basically because of that, and her pops are non-targeting. So which is great. But basically, it makes it so that she cannot if you every normal trap card that removes bodies on the field, she basically makes a +1, right? So whatever you're trading, like 1 for 1, 1 for X, right? She essentially makes that trap trade 1 for X +1. She's really good, and she can just recycle every turn. It's just that whatever broken trap you have in your graveyard, she's incredibly powerful. So these are our main boss monsters. Again, I never needed more than these as my boss monsters. Alright, let's get into 2 copies of Ariana, the Labyrinth Servant. So, yeah, so this is a Starlight. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the Collector's Rare for Lovely yet, although I am in the market for it. And this is the one Collector's Rare Ariana that I recently got. So I shall have her at 2. I've teased in my previous video, hey, maybe she can go to 1, right? I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that. And in fact, today during locals, I cited out one copy of her, and I did not miss the second copy. So maybe in the future we'll drop her down to 1 copy. But for now, I think 2 is okay. It's fine. Yeah, she's the normal summon. Her effect says, if this card is normal summon special summon, add a Labrynth card from deck to hand, except herself, obviously. And then her second effect says, and by the way, her second effect is mutually exclusive, right? If another monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, except during damage step, you can draw a card. Then you can apply this effect. From your hand, either special summon a fiend monster or set a spell trap. So one way that you can, if you have this Lovely sitting in your hand, breaking it, if you use Ariana's effect, it's a trigger effect. So just like Lovely, Ariana's effects are all trigger effects. So it's all on a new chain. Lovely's on a new chain, Aria's on a new chain, and then Lady's on the same chain. Yeah, so she basically draws you a card, and then you can either special, let's say you have the Lovely in hand, you can special her, or you can just, if you draw a trap, you can set the trap, and then you can activate it on the following turn. So you activate it a little bit more quickly. So yeah, she's pretty good. Usually, what you want is you want to have both of these on your field, because you remove a card, let's say you use Punishment, right? Then on a new chain, you do Chainlink 1 Ariana to draw, Chainlink 2 Lovely to pop, Chainlink 3 Entis, or maybe you don't have any more chains, but yeah, because she draws you, she's more likely to get ashed, whereas Lovely Labrynth can't really get hand trapped, other than maybe Imperm, right, or Veiler. But Imperm or Veiler, it doesn't matter because what chainlink she's in. But you want to chain block Ariana, so she's the lower chainlink. Also, if you're using Elder NT Entis to pop one of your opponent's cards, have Entis be at a higher chain as well. So if you send Entis, I would say Ariana 1, Lovely 2, Entis 3. Entis targets, Lovely does not target. So you'll see if your target does get popped, and if not, then maybe you want to use Lovely to pop the same target, or if it does, maybe use Lovely to pop something else, right? And then Aria will draw you a card. So, yeah, very very powerful. It's crazy how much card advantage you just generate from this engine. Like honestly, like these two cards by themselves are an engine, right? They can special after any trap, and then they can set other traps from your deck. Like you don't technically you don't even need these. Like if you wanted to be that madman, which maybe one day I will be that madman, cut these cards out and just run 2 Silver Lady, if you really want to, right? And you'll still have a really good engine. It's insane how good the engine is. Those are all. So those are all for the Labrynth monsters. We're not playing the clock. We're not playing the stove. We're not playing the chandelier. Why? They suck. Now, if you really, really, really wanted to play one of those furniture monsters, you can play the clock, I suppose. But I feel like the clock just doesn't do enough. Like, what is it like? So the clock. If you put in the clock, you're taking out another card from your deck. Like you're taking out. Let's say you take out a trap card from your deck to fit in the clock, right? What does that clock do for you? You discard the clock. So it negs 1, and you're allowed to flip a trap card the same turn you set it, right? That's it. So let's say you open, let's say for the sake of argument, right? You open like a 5-card hand. Let's say that this card is your clock, right? Then basically you send it to the graveyard, and now you set 4. Only one of these cards can be activated on the same turn. But basically, you essentially have 4 interruptions. You have 4 things that you can do on your turn and or your opponent's turn, right? But imagine if instead of this being a clock, it was a 5th trap. You set 5. You now have 5 things that you can do on your turn or your opponent's turn. You see what I'm saying? Like you just have more things to do, right? So what exactly is clock gonna do for me, or like gain you, right? That's the thing. Especially if you're going second, like you want as many like cards that do something to your opponent as possible. You do not want to see a clock in your hand going second. I mean, you could also say you don't want to see a Lovely in your hand going second either. But I mean, yeah, like, but I still think she just brings way more value than clock does, right? And if you had, let's say you had the stove, right? So what is it? The stove is like, let's pretend this is the stove, right? You use the stove to send it to the graveyard with one other card, and then you get a card from your deck, and now you set 4. So you're still setting 4, right? And one of the cards is your opponent knows what it is, right? Whereas if instead of having stove, if you just had 5 random like cards that do something, you now you have 5 things to do on your opponent. You see what I'm saying? Like I just don't. I'm not convinced of the value that stove or the clock brings. And in fact, every time I play a Labrynth Mirror matchup, they have stove or they have the chandelier or they have clock, I win. So is it really better than my deck ratio? I doubt it. Like, I mean, you can playtest it yourself. Like, play 100 duels with Labrynth, and you'll see like, okay, I'd rather this clock be something else, right? It's like again, it's all about opportunity costs. What are you taking out of your deck to put in the clock? And is that card you're taking out better or worse than the clock? If it's worse, if it's better than the clock, then why are you putting in the clock? If it's worse than the clock, ask yourself, is there no other card in the whole game that can replace the clock and be better than the clock, right? Like, think about it. It's just unnecessary. It's just really unnecessary. I know you can go to other YouTube videos and you can be like, oh, there's this cool 2-card combo with like Ariana and whatever, and like one other card where like, oh, you can summon, thanks to clock, you can summon Lovely, pop 2 cards in your opponent's hand. So instead of them starting with 6 cards in their opening hand, they start with 4. Yeah, that's a combo that exists, and you could do it, and clock does enable that. But again, ask yourself what's being like, what's going into that combo, right? So you're popping 2 random cards in your opponent's hand, 2 cards that you have no idea if your opponent even cares for, or like is gonna help them do their combo, right? Maybe it's in a Nibiru, right? Maybe this is game 1, and all their main deck side deck slots are like Book of Eclipse or like Nibiru, right? Cards that don't really do much to you, right? And you're just popping random cards. Or instead, you don't play the clock, and you instead of popping random cards in their hand, let them start putting cards on the field, and then pop cards that you see with your eyes. Like, you know, oh, this is a card that they need to do their combo. Now I'm gonna use Lady, activate, and pop a card, and then, right, pop cards that you know they want, right? I don't know. I'm just one of those people that just like, I'd rather pop, like, if I had the choice between popping a known quantity, a card I know what it is, versus popping a random card. Most of the time, I'm gonna pop the card I know what it is, right? Unless the card I know or I see is just useless, right? And or like there's no benefit for me to popping it, or like it's no benefit to my opponent. Then yeah, then I'll pop a random card in their hand, right? But I'd rather see what the card is. So that's just me. Like especially like in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh where everything's like a freaking one card combo. Like does it like popping two random cards of their six card hand, and which pretty much by the way is blowing your load, quote unquote, as in like after once you do that, like your labyrinth cards are basically like not going to do anything for the rest of the turn, and you have to rely on your other set cards to stop whatever plays they're going to make, right? Um, I don't know. I'm of the opinion that I'd rather see what my opponent does and react to that rather than just preemptively popping two random cards. So, um, especially since like that whatever two card combo whatever relies on you not getting ashed or impermed, right? So like you're committing, and by the way, hand traps quote unquote are now good again, quote unquote, right? People are like there's more ashes back, right? Ashes back, imperms are more popular, right? Like a lot more veilers, right? Main deck Nibiru's. If you normal summon Ariana and she gets ashed, like that's okay because that means that your other cards won't get ashed. Your welcome won't get ashed. Your pot of duality won't get ashed, right? So like I'd rather just have Ariana like I'm actually like fine with her getting ashed or impermed or veiler because it just means that they're not using those cards on better cards, right? And it's just like, oh, like dedicating like an extra slot of your deck to this like Ku Klux combo that requires you to not get ashed or veilered, right? It's like I don't know. I don't know if I want to put that level of that level of like commitment to the Ku Klux, right? Or like that. Oh, I have trying to get that double pop like before your opponent's standby phase, right? I just don't think it's worth it. Like I played test online, I just don't really see that much value in it. There are other cards I'd rather be watching. Like here's the thing, the Labrynth Core is already pretty big. We're at 11 cards. I've only gone through 5, and in fact I want to cut down on Labrynth Core. Why? Because there's like the other 30 cards in this deck, like or 29 cards, are just really good. I wish I had more of them, or I saw them more often. See what I'm saying? So I don't know, like the whole premise behind the furniture cards is, oh, you neg card advantage in the beginning, and then later they'll generate card advantage. It's like, you might not have that luxury of just negging one or negging two, right off the bat like that. Like, especially if you lose a die roll, you're going second. Like, you're gonna wish that Ku Klux was something else, right? Trust me. Like, so don't ask me about Ku Klux, the stove, or Chandelier. I'm never ever gonna play them. I've play tested them already. I've tried them Master. I tried them TCG. I just don't like them. I'm not convinced that they are valuable or worth it. That like they're core or you have to run them. Similarly, the Ariane, right? The Ariane's the other level 4 normal summon, or that I guess she can be specialed. I don't really see that much value to her either, other than like being able to like turbo the XCs from the DDD package. But I mean, we're running Pot of Extravagance in this deck, so we might just banish our DDD package anyway. So like, I don't know. I'm not convinced Ariane is needed either, because Ariana is just like so much better, right? And even Ariana is like sort of on the chopping block. I'm already thinking about taking one of these out, right? And in fact, by the way, folks, game 2 and 3, I often side Ariana out, right? Especially if I know I'm going second and my opponent's going to put up a board with a bunch of stuff, right? Especially if they have a lot of monster negates. Why would I even bother having Ariana in my deck to begin with? It's like my Sword Soul opponent has a Chi-Shao. The only thing Chi-Shao can negate in your deck is Ariana. Like, so why? So I just side it out, right? What's the point of even having her? Like going second in a lot of matchups, especially when we get into like our side deck. You'll understand why. More often than not, you're going to be siding her out anyway. In fact, yeah. Again, against the Sword Soul player that I played today, I sided one copy of Ariana out, going first. Not even going second, going first. And I was like perfectly happy. I did not miss the second copy. So yeah, so she's on the chopping block. Maybe I'll cut her down to one. Who knows? But for now, I think this is good. I had good success playtesting online. This has been a very solid ratio. One copy of the Labrynth Field Spell. This card is, it's like it's very whelming, as in like if your opponent ignores it, it can do a lot of damage to them. But at the same time, if your opponent like wastes resources to get rid of this, that means you're not those resources are not being used to get rid of other stuff. So it's one of those cards where it's just like you have to deal with it, or else it's gonna cause you problems. So let's read what this does. So this card says if you activate a set Welcome Labyrinth normal trap, so that's any normal trap with the words in quotes Welcome Labyrinth in it. So fair Welcome Labyrinth, words big Welcome Labyrinth, right? You can add this additional effect to this card's effect at resolution. Also, after that, destroy one card on the field. So basically, all your Welcome Labyrinth cards also pop after they summon and do the thing. They pop. Second effect. If you activate a non-Labyrinth normal trap card, except during damage set, you can special summon one fiend monster from your hand or graveyard. So that's another way you can get Lady out of your hand. But also, this helps you recycle your Labyrinth monsters from the graveyard. So, yeah, this card is a lot better since Tier got banned because... when they're in Tier format, we were just turboing Necro Valley, right? So that we would never really see this card against Tier. But now that we don't need Necro Valley package anymore, I use this card a lot more today than before. Also, for those of you wondering about the Labyrinth Mirror matchup, one of the ways you win the Mirror matchup is the first player to get this out on the field and actually like start using it. You typically wins. Because this gives you like a lot of advantage versus your opponent. So yeah, in the mirror matchup, you want to turbo this card. It's really good. It helps you win the mirror matchup. So anyway, all right. So so let's get into the traps, which are probably the most important. We're running 2 copies of Welcome Labyrinth, 3 copies of Big Welcome Labyrinth. That's right, folks. 2 copies of Welcome Labyrinth. I hinted it in my previous video. I told you this was coming, and I was 100% correct in cutting this down to 2 copies. Alright, so let's talk about Welcome Labyrinth real quick. So this card set reads, special summon 1 Labyrinth monster from your deck. Also, until the end of the next turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the deck. Except Fiend monster. So this locks you into Fiends. Okay. If a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect while this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, set this card. And it's hard once per turn. Alright, so why... Alright, so before I talk about ratios, let's read Big Welcome Labyrinth. This is the new card from Photon Hypernova. This card is... Dude, every time... The longer I use this card, the longer I play with this card, the more I just love it. This card is so amazing. Like, I cannot stress to you how many awesome interactions exist between this card and like cards in your deck. So let's read what it says. Special summon Labyrinth monster from hand, deck, or graveyard. Then return 1 monster you control in the hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Fiend monster you control, or if you control a level 8 or higher Fiend monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls instead. Return that card to the hand. You can only use Big Welcome Labyrinth once per turn. So, alright. So basically, before we had this card, we had to run 3 Welcome Labyrinths because it's kind of our starter, right? And only having 2 starters, I mean, technically, Ariana could search into Welcome, and I mean, technically, Lady can also search into Welcome if you special Lady off another way and then use a trap card, right? But this is like this was the only starter, quote unquote, like actual starter we had, right? But now we have freaking 3 more starters, right? So we have a total, if we wanted to run 3 Welcome and 3 Big Welcome, 6 starters, right? And again, Ari can search any of these, Lady can set any of these, and then Lovely can reset from the graveyard, right? So I decided, I don't know, this is just too many starters. Is there such thing as too many starters? Yes. Yes, there is. Sword Soul runs 3 Moye and 2 Taya, right? Both those cards are considered starters, right? Why don't they run 3 Taya? Because it's unnecessary, right? There is such thing as having too many starters. And especially in a trap deck, this is a back row deck, right? Again, unlike a combo deck, this is not a combo deck, right? In a combo deck, you want to see your starter as often as humanly possible, okay? That's therefore a lot of starters in combo decks are typically at 3 copies because of that. Because that starter will help you create your entire board, right? That 1 or 2 card starter is going to build the board for you. In a trap deck, we don't have a 1 or 2 card starter that will build our entire board, right? Our board is built off whatever the 5 or 6 cards that we have in our opening hand, most of which will be traps, right? So it's not that urgent that you see the starter. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to see it because, again, at the end of the day, you need monsters to attack your opponent's life points, right? But I'm telling you, like, now that we have... Alright, so now we have 5 starters. So, 5 of these, right? So let's... Quick probability. if we ignore this all the searching, if we ignore that Ari can search like and their pot cards, if we ignore all searching and pot cards, right? If we look at just these 5 cards, there is a greater than 50% chance that in your opening hand you will see a minimum of one of these cards, minimum, right? More than 50% chance. So more often than not, you will see one of these cards in your opening hand. Not counting searching off Ariana, not counting searching off Lady, not counting off Lord of the Heavenly Prison, not counting off Pots, just not counting Trap Trick, just straight up, just these 5, more than 50% chance, right? Now, so why cut Welcome to 2 and Big Welcome 1? Because Welcome can reset itself from the graveyard. Unlike, for example, in Eldritch, we have Elixir Scarlet Sanguine, which we like pretty much always run 3 of. This card recycles itself, folks. Remember the last second effect. Here we go. If a monster leaves the field by your normal traffic while this card is in the graveyard, set this card, right? And it doesn't banish when it leaves the field. So this card literally will just bring itself back, right? If you get 1 in your graveyard, like 1 in rotation between your field and graveyard, that's pretty much all you need, honestly. Like, I'm telling you, I've been playing online, I've been playing at my locals, I never, ever, 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 ever needed the 3rd copy, nor did I ever miss it. You just don't, because again, this can keep coming back from the graveyard. Like, what, are they going to DD Crow your freaking Welcome? Like, I don't think anyone's playing DD Crow, so telling you, Welcome at 2, you will not regret it. Go to every other YouTube video doing a Labrynth deck poll, they'll all tell you to play 3, and I'm telling you, they're wrong. 2 is all you freaking need. 2 is all you need. Trust me. Play 2, you will not regret it. You will not miss it. Again, remember, opportunity costs. If I put in the 3rd copy of Welcome, what do I have to take out from my deck, right? Probably a card that's really good, right? Now let's talk about Big Welcome, because this card might have just become my favorite card of the archetype, because oh my god, this card does everything you could possibly want, right? First of all, it allows you to special from hand, deck, or graveyard. That means you open a Lovely in your hand, you're not gonna cry about it. Like before, if Lovely was in your hand, you had Welcome, you can't do anything about it. You had to like do some weird stuff with Ariana or the field spell to get her out of your hand, right? Nah, this says hand, deck, graveyard. Bam, summons. Awesome. Next thing it does, after you summon, it bounces a card, a monster specifically, to your hand. Any monster. Does not have to be a Labrynth monster. Does not have to be the monster to summon. Any monster on your field can be returned to the hand, right? Guess what, folks? This card is a normal trap, and that effect that returns a monster to the hand is considered a monster leaving the field by normal trap effect. Therefore, it can trigger Ariana to draw you a card. It can trigger Lovely to pop a card. It can trigger Welcome in the graveyard to set itself. It's incredible how good this card is. In fact, after I finish talking about the Labrynth package, I'm probably gonna hold on to 1 copy of this card, just so that I can bring up how many amazing interactions this card has. Like this card can also help you dodge. I mean, the fact that it like specials from anywhere and it bounces a card means you can dodge stuff, right? Let's say you used Lovely, right? Trigger effect to pop one of your opponent's cards. They chain Imperm or they chain Chi-Shao. Target Lovely. You chain Big Welcome. You bring out, let's say, Lady. You bounce Lovely to your hand, and now whatever targeted fizzles. Lovely's effect goes through, and now you have another body on the field, right? This card is insanely cracked. That's also true about Ariana, right? This card also is a 1-card starter for Lady, right? So recall Lady's effect. So let's say you have the set, and let's say you have no other cards. You just have Big Welcome. Activate a Big Welcome, summon Lady. Lady returns to hand. This goes to the graveyard. Same turn, activate Lady in hand. Special, right? Because remember, Lady can special herself from the hand on any turn where a Labrynth card or normal trap was used. So that includes Big Welcome. So insane, right? Also means Ariana. Like Ariana's on the field. You normal her, search, right? On a future subsequent turn, you can use Big Welcome, bring out one of the other monsters, bounce Ariana, and then on a subsequent turn, you can normal Ariana and search again, right? It's insanely good. So in general, I would say most of the time when you're using the regular Welcome Labrynth, most of the time you're bringing out Lovely, because Lovely's the most annoying to summon, and you only have one of her, right? Most of the time. Sometimes you're going to use Welcome to summon Ari, and Ari is going to immediately search Lady, and Lady can then immediately summon herself, or summon on your opponent's end phase, right? typically, what you want is if you have a bunch of set cards and you have a regular Welcome Labrynth, right? Um, so if those set cards can remove bodies, then you bring out Lovely, and then whenever you remove a monster using one of your set traps, Lovely can pop another card, right? Alternatively, you can use Lady, bring her out, and then when one of your trap cards activates, you use Lady to search another card. So Lovely, if you, so big welcome. Bring out Lovely if you want to pop cards. Bring out Lady if you want to search cards, right? Um, and if you're gonna bring out Lady, you might as well bring out Ariana, unless you fear that they have a negate, right? And like they're gonna Ash or imperm your Ariana. So uh, don't forget that the field spell, if it's active, adds a pop. So if you have the field spell active and you use Welcome, if you bring out Lovely, you can immediately, because the field spell, pop one of your opponent's monsters. New chain, chain link 1, Lovely pop a card. So basically, here's a so that's like a 2-card, I guess, starter. Let's say you open Ariana and Welcome in your opening hand, right? Normal Ariana, search the field spell, set Welcome on your opponent's turn. They do some stuff. They put a monster on the field, right? Welcome summons Lovely. Lovely pops a monster. New chain, chainlink 1 Ari to draw. Chainlink 2 Lovely to pop another card, hand or field, right? And then so that's typically so with the field spell, you can do that. But don't forget that the field spell can also pop after help your big welcomes pop as well. So this really good engine. Trust me. Play 2. Just do it. Play 2 for a bit, and tell me if you actually missed the 3, or if you're not seeing this card often enough. Tell me with a straight face whether that's the case. I want to, because like again, I've been playtesting this. I have not needed the 3rd copy. Because again, big welcome can literally reset welcome. It's insane, right? Another reason this card is amazing. Let's read its second effect. Oh, this card is just the gift that keeps on giving. So you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a fiend monster you control, or if you control level or higher fiend monster, you can target one card your opponent controls instead. Return that card to the hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So this is not only does this summon out your boss monster, but on a subsequent turn, you can literally banish this from your graveyard to bounce any card, assuming you have one of these on the field, to the hand, right? And if you bounce an extra deck, monster, then that's probably what you're gonna bounce. But guess what? Like by doing that, by banishing and bouncing a card, if you bounce a monster, it can trigger Lovely, it can trigger Ariana, it can trigger Welcome in the Graveyard to set again. Like it just triggers everything, right? Like from the graveyard. So this card is absolutely cracked. Like I think this is mandatory 3 of. Unlike Welcome, this cannot reset itself from the graveyard, but it's better than Welcome in like almost every other way. Like Welcome just gives you that consistency of being able to set every turn, but like big Welcome is really the card that like makes this deck a force to be reckoned with. And don't forget, every time, if you have a Lady on the field, every time you use one of these cards, you can chain Lady, assuming they don't chain, your opponent doesn't chain, you can chain Lady and set a card of a different name. So that's the Labrynth engine. We have 6, 8, 11 cards. In the future, may cut this down, so it's a nice 10-card package. But for now, I think 11 cards is fine until further notice. So trust me, you don't need anything else. You don't need Labrynth setup. That card sucks, right? Just play this ratio, and you will not regret it. You will have a wonderful time at your locals or whatever, playing with your friends or playing online. In fact, I'm gonna put it up here, and I'm gonna reference this card every so often. All right. Now that we're done with the Labrynth Core, so that was the core of our Labrynth deck, right? Let's get into cards that I consider to be core to the deck. Not just Labrynth decks, but just trap decks in general. Like these are cards that are really good, and I'd be very surprised if you could argue against playing these cards in this trap deck or other trap decks. So let's start with 3, Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So this card is insanely busted. It's so cracked. It's so good. Any Labrynth deck profile that does not feature this card in the main deck is lying to you. It's straight up lying to your face, right? They have no idea what they're doing or talking about if they don't play Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Like, seriously, this card is so unbelievably good. I can't stress to you enough how good it is. So now let's read what it does. 3,000 attack, 2,000 defense, rock and dark monster. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. This card in your hand becomes revealed until the end of your opponent's turn. While this card is revealed by this effect, set cards on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that includes either side. And it says set cards, so that does not. That also includes monsters. Also, these are the prismatic secrets from the Megatons, by the way. Cool. That's effect number 1. Effect number 2 says if a set spell trap card is activated, except during damage save, you can spell summon this card from your hand. Then, if you activate this effect while this card was revealed, you can reveal and set one spell trap directly from your deck, but banish it during the end phase of your next turn. You can only use one. So each of the two effects is mutually exclusive. So typically, turn 1, your turn, you activate Lord, you reveal it, and then turn 2, your opponent uses a trap, or you do, and then you activate Lord and special, and then you set a card from your deck. Okay, now why is this card? In my opinion, mandatory in your main deck. Why is it mandatory? First of all, your opponent cannot pop your back row while it's set face down. They can't use Branded Beast. They can't use Sword Soul Blackout. They can't use Branded in Red and Guardian Chimera. They can't use all of the above. Like, if you activate this, your set cards are protected. They will not be destroyed until he's no longer revealed or he's out of your hand. Right? So, yeah. So game 1, there's a lot of pop effects in the game, right? It's not just like back row clear. It's like, oh, Harpy's Feather Duster, like it's just there's a lot of cards that pop in the deck, right? Even in main decks. Next, so let's say you don't open one of your starters, right? Like, let's say you don't open any of these 5 welcome or big welcome labyrinths. Let's say you just got unlucky, whatever. Lord of the Heavenly Prison can literally set those from your deck. So let's say you open Lord and like 4 other trap cards. You set 4, you activate Lord, you set 4, pass, right? Let's say none of those cards are your welcome, right? So at some point during your opponent's turn, ideally on the end phase, so the later you activate the Lord is typically the better because it gives your opponent less chance to respond, and also he'll be revealed for your opponent's entire turn. They can't pop any cards, right? So let's say on your opponent's end phase, you flip a card, right? Maybe it's Trap Trick, maybe it's Goes a Match, whatever. You special Lord, and then from your deck you can grab and set Big Welcome, or you can grab and set Welcome. And there you go. So you just got like, oh, we had 5 starters. How about 8 starters, right? Like, even more ways of getting to the cards that you want. So, like, this card searches, right? It's a body and it searches. So this is a +1, right? This card. Like, why would you not play it? Like, seriously, give me a good logical reason in the comment section why you should not play Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Next, let's talk about Lord of the Heavenly Prison with Big Welcome Labyrinth, because this card just made Lord of the Heavenly Prison even better. Okay, why is that? I'll tell you. Lord of the Heavenly Prison, okay, is a monster, and according to this card, after you activate Big Welcome Labyrinth and special like one of your monsters, like let's say you special Lovely, right? You have to bounce a monster into your hand. You can bounce Lord, folks. Lord goes back into your hand, and then Lovely pops a card, right? Like, what more do you need to know from that? Like, Lord is literally a monster that, like, every turn that you are able to use this effect nets you another card, another card, right? So you summon Lord, you have a 3k body. You can either keep it on the field, use it to attack or swing, right? Or you can literally bounce it off of Big Welcome and put it back into your hand, and then next turn you reveal Lord again, your back row's protected again, and then on the following turn you use a spell trap, you special Lord, and you search another card from your deck again, right? How insane is that? Like, Big Welcome just made Lord even better. By the way, folks, there is a new OTK that you can do with Lord of the Heavenly Prison that was not available before, thanks to Big Welcome. So, what's the OTK? In fact, I did this today. I was against a what were they playing? Oh, I was against an Evil Twin Sprite player, right? So Sprite is playing Evil Twin, or a lot of, Evil Twin Sprite is, at least at my locals, more popular. So I was against a Sprite Evil Twin player. I prevented him from, I blew out his board. All I had was Lord in hand, right? And I had like a set. I forgot what the set was. Check this out. All right, so I had Lord revealed. Okay. I had some set cards. I flipped on their end phase. I flipped one of the set cards. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was Trap Trick. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Flip something. Flip a skill drain. Flip a goes in match. Doesn't matter. On resolution of that flip, use Special Lord. Use Lord's effect, which is a hand effect. So even if under skill drain you can do this. Set Big Welcome Labrynth. All right. Draw for turn. Main phase. Battle phase. Swing for 3,000 damage. Okay. They just took 2,000. Let's say they have no monsters. They took 3,000. Still battle phase. Big welcome. Activate Big Welcome. Special Lovely from the deck, or hand or graveyard, whatever. Bounce Lord back to your hand. New chain. Chain link 1 Lovely because a monster left the field. So Lord left the field by normal trap effect. So you'll get you get a pop. Chain link 2 Lord. Yes. You can special Lord without him being revealed. And then you special Lord, swing for 3,000, swing for 2,900, 8,900 damage. OTK, folks. This is an OTK that we did not have access to before. Right? All you need is Lord and literally any set card. Like Lord is revealed in your hand, right? Let's go over that again. Your opponent's end phase. Let's say they end with no monsters because you stopped them from building a board, right? Flip a card, any card, Trap Trick, welcome, whatever. Flip a card. Special Lord, set Big Welcome. Draw for turn, main phase, battle phase, 3,000 damage. Big Welcome, still battle phase. Lady, Lord comes back. New chain, chain link 1 Lady, chain link 2 Lord. Bam, 3,000, 2,900. Game, folks. I literally beat my sprite evil twin opponent this way, right? I cleared his board, I think with like Sphere Mode or something. He couldn't rebuild it. Sphere Mode, came back to me, right? Or I forgot. Sphere Mode went away. And then I literally just killed him with Lord. I'm telling you, if you're not any freaking deck profile that you see on YouTube that doesn't tell you, like Labrynth, that doesn't tell you to play 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prison is 100,000% lying to you. This card is insane, and it's even better thanks to Big Welcome. Right? Like you have another opportunity to put this card back in your hand and use it again, right? And because it's a body, that means that Lady does, like, you can use this to start Lady, right? Most of the time, Big Welcome is used to start start Lovely. Most of the time, Big Welcome is used to bring out Lady, but because of Lord, you can actually use it to bring out Lovely, bounce Lord, and then Lovely's live, right? And then you can immediately use her effect. Like, I'm telling you, you gotta run 3 in your main deck. You gotta run 3. This card is insane. All right. Enough ranting about that. It just blows my mind when I see deck profiles out there. It might have been pack. I mean, I have to rewatch the pack. I don't know. I see a lot of deck profiles that don't have Lord, Labrynth that don't have Lord. I'm just like, you're playing fucking Torby Stove, and Kuklok, and you're not playing Lord of the Heavenly Prison. What is wrong with you, right? Same with like Temple of Kings. Like, why would you play those cards and not play Lord of the Heavenly Prison? It blows my mind. By the way, folks, Lord, let's say in the Labrynth Mirror matchup, probably wins the Labrynth Mirror matchup because A, protects your back row from pop effects. B, that includes, or I guess A, part 2, that includes Eradicator Epidemic Virus, right? If they virus you, you have set 4 with Lord revealed, your traps don't die, right? But also, it's a 3k beater that can swing into their Lady and like crash into Lady. And if they use their Big Welcome to bounce your Lord to your hand, that's just good for you because then you use Lord again. Or actually, if they compulse your Lord or like they Big Welcome bounce your Lord, you can immediately just drop him again, right? Assuming these effects are 1 per turn, but you get the idea, right? Oh, play Lord. Just do it. Don't ask questions. Just do it. You're gonna love it. All right, next cards that I think are core to Backrow deck, but especially 2 copies of Pod of Extravagance, 2 copies of Pod of Duality. These are the only other spells we have in the deck. We have the Spiel spell. We have 2 of each. Some people will tell you to play Prosperity. I'll tell them that they're wrong. The reason is because unlike a combo deck, so in a combo deck, you need to see that one card. That one card that's going to completely help you pop off and like get you everything you need and help you establish your board, right? Back row deck is about the grind game. You're not going to win on turn 1. You're not going to combo off and create this insane board. But what you are going to do is you're going to have more cards than your opponent at any given time. You're going to have more cards on the field. You're going to have more cards in your hand. It's all about card advantage. That's the name of the game. The name of the game is card advantage. Okay, so Extrav gives you 2 cards, right? Prosperity gives you 1 card. Need I say more? Duality and Extravagance can be used on the same turn. They're not mutually exclusive. Duality obviously locks you out of special summon, but again, turn 1 you use Duality. Turn 2 you actually summon. Like the only summon you're realistically doing on turn 1 is Ariana, and Ariana is a normal summon, so it's not going to be affected by Duality, right? Your lords and ladies come out on turn 2, so there's no conflict there. Pot of Extrav, why only 2? Because if we run 3, we're more likely to brick. We never want to see 2 Extravs in our opening hand because that means one of them will be a brick, right? The 2 of ratio is important because it means that you are going to see it a lot, more than 1, obviously not much 3, but you're going to decrease how often you see 2 in your opening hand, which is very important. Also, folks, this banish is 6, right? Your extra deck only has 15 cards, so the 3rd pot will never be activated, right? I must say, there's a lot of games where usually 1 or 2 pots are used. Because guess what, folks? Lord of the Heavenly Prison can set pot. So Lord of the Heavenly Prison, when it summons to the field while it's revealed, can set any spell trap from the deck onto your field, including Pot of Extravagance. So literally, like if you already have all your welcomes and there's no specific trap that you need or like engine card, you can literally use Lord to set Extrav on your opponent's end phase, draw for turn, activate pot, draw 2 more. You literally just drew 3 cards off thanks to Lord of the Heavenly Prison, right? So really, you have like 5 copies of each of these. So Lord, prioritize getting your welcome cards in rotation. If you already have them in rotation or you don't need them, just set Pot of Extravagance, right? This card's awesome. Pod Duality, really good. It just excavates. So if there's a card that you need, just ideally you see both of these. Ideally you see like your opening hand consists like if you have 5-card hand consists of like these 3 plus like 2 traps, right? And then like this will draw you hopefully 2 more traps, and then this will draw you whatever. Like you get the idea, right? Okay, so let's go with more cards that I think should be core, right? That aren't archetype cards. 2 Trap Trick. Remember when I said that we had 5 starters? We actually have 7, because Trap Trick can set any normal trap from the deck. That includes Welcome. That includes Big Welcome. So so really, we have 7 ways of seeing our welcome cards on turn 1, thanks to Trap Trick. Not like let's ignore Lord. Let's ignore the fact that our pot cards can also draw into them. If you're running my ratios and you tell me that you're breaking or you're not seeing your welcome, you must be like the unluckiest guy or person in the world, because I literally cannot go a game without seeing my engine. It just doesn't happen. I'm not bricking, okay? And then finally, the last 3 cards to run is that is for this Backrow Core. This Trap Deck Core is 3 copies of Song Strike. This card is nuts. I don't know why some players don't play them. Like, oh, it's a counter trap. It doesn't interact with the Labrynth cards. It doesn't matter. By the way, this is a 3 collector's rare. First of all, this card is not once per turn. It reads, when a monster's special summon or a monster effect is active. A monster effect is activated. Pay 1,500 life when they get the summon activation. If you do, destroy that card. So basically, this card is just cracked. This card will never brick. You will never brick on this card. If you open all 3 Solemn Strikes in your opening hand, you're in a great spot. Like just think about the interaction, right? Like let's say you have 3 of these, right? Can any deck realistically play through 3 Solemn Strikes, assuming you Solemn Strike in the right spot, right? It's like, let's say Sword Soul, right? Moye, Token, make Chisao, Solemn Strike. What's it called? The Long End, send a card, make Baron, Solemn Strike. What about Adhara, and then Vishuddha, make a Synchro 8, Solemn Strike. Their turn's over. They're out of place, right? Like Solemn Strike is just so good. And if you're going second, this card will win you games because like this will basically protect any of your other cards, right? Let's say your opponent puts up a Baron de Fleur, right? You try to Floodgate out, like on their turn, you flip Goes and Match. They try to negate with Baron, Solemn Strike. You're against a Cashier player. A Rise Heart, on the following turn is going to try to banish one of your cards, Solemn Strike. It's just so good. Like and they can't respond. It's a counter trap, right? It's spell speed 3, so they cannot respond with monster effects. Your opponent summons Access Code against you, Solemn Strike. Your opponent summons a 4 Material Zeus against you, Solemn Strike. Like, it just wins you games. Like, I literally can't wrap my head around the idea of not running 3 of these in the main deck. Like, it's so good. Um, Going first or second, right? Uh, Going second, it's like it just stops whatever like they try to do to negate or like interrupt your cards. Like, yeah, it just protects. So anyway, so yeah, these are the um, let's see, 3, 7, 9, 12 card core, right? So we have 11 Labrynth Core cards. We have 12 what I like to call like control, back row, trap deck core cards. So we're at what, 23, and then the other 17 cards are like tech, are like optional cards that could theoretically rotate. One thing I want to mention about Trap Trick is you can, if you have Lady and Trap Trick on the field, uh, 2 things to be wary of. First of all, so you can chain Lady to, so if you flip Trap Trick, this is a normal spell, you can proc the field spell with it, but also you can chain Lady. So you basically set a card from your deck, and then Trap Trick will set a second card. So you basically get 2 searches, right, for trap cards. Just keep in mind that Lady requires a back row slot to put that card, and Trap Trick requires one. So only do that if you have at least 2 open slots. So just keep that in mind. That it's very important that you don't mess up with the number of slots. All right, so that's it for these cards. Play Lord. Yeah, if you're not playing with Lord, you're doing it wrong. That's all I gotta say. Okay. Now let's get into our main deck tech cards, starting with normal traps. 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. This card has always been good. I mean, there was a hiccup during the tier format where this card was not as good because tier can just had floating effects. But now that tier is gone, this card is great. Blows up the field. You trade. You usually want to do this after your opponent has committed a lot of resource already, especially their normal summon, right? Against Sword Soul, like Moye, Chi-Shao. As soon as Longan hits the field, so they have Chi-Shao, Longan, and Token. Once the Token hits the field, Torrential, and then they're done. Their turn is over. They can't make the Synchro 10. Chi-Shao's gone. Like, yeah, it's just really good. Yeah, don't shotgun this on like the first. Like, don't like, oh, they summon out Hara Torrential. Don't do that. Please be smart. By the way, we have 3 Torrentials with 2 Trap Tricks, means we really have 5 Torrentials. One thing I wanted to mention is that if you're gonna Torrential and you have Lady on the field, obviously it's going to kill your Lady, but don't forget to chain Lady to Torrential so you set another card, right? Like, you can literally, like, chain Lady to Torrential and then set Big Welcome. Lady dies, and then she comes back to be a Big Welcome next turn anyway, for example. Another thing I want to mention is if you have the Labrynth Field spell online, and, like, let's say, you have Lovely, you flip Torrential, they summon, you flip Torrential, Lovely dies, but because you use a normal trap that is not have Labrynth in its name, then you can activate this effect to literally revive Lady. So, yeah, it's all good. What else? Don't forget that this can also proc Welcome to reset it from the graveyard, right? Yeah, this card is cracked. One of the best trap cards in the game. I don't see why you wouldn't play 3. Yeah, just do it. Don't be afraid of blowing up your board. Also, for those of you like really that scared about blowing up your board, like while your Labrynth monster's up, consider this. You're going first. You set back row. Let's say you set a Torrential and you set Welcome, right? Or Big Welcome. You can choose the order you flip your trap cards, in case you weren't aware. So your opponent starts building a board, they put a bunch of monsters out, you Torrential, blow up their board, and then you Welcome and bring out your monster, right? Like, you don't have to Welcome before. Like, you can literally just Torrential, take out all their stuff, and then bring out your monsters that will help you generate advantage in the swing, right? So, yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy to play with Torrential Tribute. Like, don't be afraid of having this in your Labrynth just because you have like monsters, right? Cool. So 3 copies of Torrentials, 2 copies of Dogmatic of Punishment. This card is really good. Targets for cost, obviously. In the Cashier matchup, or if you're under D-Shifter or like you're under Macrocosmos, this card does nothing. So maybe you want to side it out against Kashtira, but otherwise it's like you target an opponent's monster, send a card from your extra deck, pop it, and then yeah, usually you send Elder Insane Tis, which will pop another card. And if you have Lovely on the field, you can pop a 3rd card. So basically, Punishment by itself can trade 1 for 1 usually one for two because of Entis. And if you have Lovely, it trades 1 for 3. So Lovely makes it so that every trade, like every normal trap cards that remove bodies, like trades instead of trading 1 for X, it trades 1 for X+1. So yeah, and then you can literally use Lovely to reset punishment. So on the following turn, and then do that trade again, which will probably win you the game at that point. So yeah, again, you have 2 copies because we have Trap Trick. This card is hard once per turn, by the way. So another reason we see a lot of 2-of ratios is not just because we don't want to see a card as often, but because some cards are hard once per turn. This card is, I guess, not hard once per turn. It's once per turn. So if the activation gets negative, you can use a second. But typically, you don't want to see 2 in your opening hand because only one of them will be usable on your opponent's turn for the most part. Torrential Tribute, we are at 3 because they are not once per turn. You see all 3 Torrential Tributes in your hand, they will all do something useful. So, punishment, yeah, once per turn, so 2, and because of Trap Trick, you basically have 4 copies. Next, we have 2 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device. This is not once per turn, so you theoretically could run a third. I just feel like this card is like, it's okay. I mean, in most trap decks, it sucks because it trades 1 for 1, but in Labrynth, because of the fact that we have Lovely makes it so this trades 1 for 2. It also helps us out like monsters that have like destruction protection. And by the way, you can use this on your own monsters. You can use this on Lord, put them back in your hand, trigger a Lovely effect, right? You can use this to dodge cards, right? Like if you normal Arian, they use Imperm. You can use Compulse to bounce Arian, then like Ari's effect goes through, right? So it's an okay card. 2 copies means you have 4 thanks to Trap Trick. But here's the thing, folks. This card is sort of on my chopping block, as in I'm still playtesting it. But if I were to remove cards from my deck, these 2 are on the chopping block. So what would I replace it with? I don't know yet. But I will say that especially in the current format where a lot of Lava Golem is really good, right? Why? Because there's a lot of boards that end on 2 like boss monsters from the extra deck. Get Out is a pretty good trap card that I've been thinking about a lot. That would be theoretically more useful than Compulsory. So maybe I cut this for something else. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, this card is pretty solid. All right, the last 2 normal trap decks are going to be slightly spicy. I'm running 2 copies of Waybridge. This is the new trap card that came out of Photon Hypernova. So let's read what it says. This says, if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters than you, which way easier than it sounds, your opponent must send monsters to control the graveyard, so they only control 1 monster. So basically, this can theoretically, if your opponent has like 3-4 monsters, like trade 1 for 2, 1 for 3, 1 for 4, right? And then they have to keep one card. So, unlike Torrential Tribute, where the card effect gets rid of those monsters, this is forcing your opponent to send a monster away, right? Which means that cards like Tearlaments will not trigger. Cards like whatever, they just won't trigger, right? And any cards that have graveyard effects that say, oh, if once graveyard by card effect, those will not trigger. Yeah, this card is pretty solid. It's not hard once per turn at all. You can theoretically run 3. The only thing I would say is this card is very whelming, right? It's not as good as I thought it would be, like when it was first announced, but it's also like not bad. I've definitely resolved this and used this. Just FYI, because this forces your opponents to send cards, you cannot trigger any of your Labrynth effects except like Lady, because it's a normal trap, and the field spell. So like any of your Labrynth cards that say like, oh, if a monster loses field by card effect, this is not leaving the field by card effect. So keep that in mind. These cards are also on my chopping block because, like I said, very whelming. If I were to replace these for playtesting, I think I might replace these for Needle Sealing. Remember Needle Sealing? I think Needle Sealing might be back on the menu, right? I haven't decided yet, but Needle Sealing would be a hilarious replacement for this. I would not do Ice Dragons because Ice Dragons is pretty underwhelming. I've playtested that. Terrors of the Overroot also very underwhelming. So yeah, so might do Needle Sealing, but this card is okay. It's okay, like not amazing, but it's yeah, pretty good. Not bad. And finally, the last 2 normal trap cards of the deck, we have 2 copies of Evenly Matched. That's right, we are main decking Evenly Matched now, folks. So why are we doing this? Didn't all of y'all ask me about Evenly Matched, and then I give you a reason why want evenly matched, right? My argument at the time was, oh, it's not so good going first, right? Which is true. But the reason I want evenly matched is because like it's very rare that your opponent puts up a negate anymore. Like the only negate that you can really think of is like Baronne de Fleur, like against Sword Soul, and guess what? You can literally just use this to bait the Baronne negate, and now they don't have it anymore. So, oh, this is a very good card. Labrynth Mirror, you lose die roll, you just play this, right? Why are we at 2 copies and not 3? Because again, you never want to see more than one of these in your opening hand. Like especially if you're going first, it's very bricky going first, right? But also we have cards like these that can help us see these, right? So I don't know. I feel like I haven't. I feel like this card has been seen the correct number of times. I have never seen this card too often or not often enough. So yeah, I think this is just pretty good. It just makes our going second a lot more powerful. I mean, we have a bunch of side deck cards for going second, but this in the main deck. So people ask, oh, why main deck evenly match instead of main decking lava golems? I'll tell you why. So the reason why so we do side deck lava golems. Some lab players will say you should main deck lava golems. Some Labrynth players will say you should main deck sphere modes. Why should you not main deck those and main deck these instead? I'll tell you why. Because if you main deck Lava Golem, Ariana cannot be used, and neither can Pot of Duality. So Lava Golem is a special summon that eats up your normal summon. So you cannot Duality if you have Lava Golem, and you cannot Ariana if you have Lava Golem. So having main decked Ariana, Pot of Duality, and Lava Golem, you kind of brick. There's a lot of anti-synergy there, and can lead to bricks, right? Whereas if you open an evenly matched, let's say you open a Lava Golem and Ariana Duality, only Lava Golem will be useful, right? Assuming you're going second, right? If you open evenly matched Pot of Duality and Ariana going second, all 3 of these cards will be useful. So, yeah, I'm really digging. I've been playtesting evenly matched at 2, and I'm really digging it. This card is not on my chopping block at all. I definitely think I want to keep it 2 in the main deck, and then like just when you're siding for going second, you're just even more powerful. Theoretically, this is a normal trap, so you can like after you evenly, you can summon Lady, right? And also you can search evenly match off Trap Trick. Theoretically, you can search evenly match off Lady. You can you can search it, but like again, if your board's not clear, like it's not really going to be used. But sometimes if you're in like that weird grind game where your opponent's just building up advantage and you're not, like evenly match can come in clutch and help you regain some of that advantage. So yeah, so I'm really digging this in the main deck. 2 is honestly all I've ever needed. A lot of people say play 3. I don't think that's necessary, especially with the side deck cards that we have. So those are our normal trap cards. Now, before anyone, I'll get to the ratios later, but more ratio stuff later. All right, so let's get into our Floodgates. Y'all have seen this before. 3 copies of Goes and Match, 3 copies of Skill Drain. Goes and Match is literally every single monster in our deck is a dark monster. So I don't see any argument for why you would not run a Goes and Match. By the way, these are ulti skill drains, by the way. Your Labyrinth monsters are darks. Your Lord of the Heavenly Prison is dark. Most of your extra deck monsters, if you ever go into them, will be dark, right? And Goes and Match is incredibly good in the current format. Castira, they're all psychics, different attributes. Sword Soul, they're all worms, different attributes. Even against branded Bestial, or branded Despia, like if you're going first against them and they go into Lubellion, you can lock them into lights and then they're like, uh-oh. Or you can, I mean, it's not that great against branded Bestial, but it's okay. Versus Sprite. I use this against the Sprite Evil Twin player. They were toast, right? Like, Sprites are all different attributes, right? So, yeah, Goes and Match, really good Floodgate right now. Run 3, good going first, good going second. Similar to Waybridge, if you let's say your opponent has a full board, you flip this on them, you're going second. It forces your opponent to send their monsters to graveyard. So, just so it does not trigger obviously this continuous trap, but it doesn't trigger any graveyard effects that say, oh, send to the graveyard by card effect. So you're not sending your opponent's monsters to the graveyard by card effect. You're forcing your opponent to send them, right? And then Skill Drain, MVP card. It just wins going first or second. Again, all your monsters are really easy to summon. Lady's easy to summon. Lord of the Heavenly Prison easy to summon, right? They're all 3K bodies, right? Lady's 2900, But yeah, if you just flip skill drain on them and they can't build a board, how are they gonna out your monsters? They're not. So yeah, skill drain is really good. Also, folks, again, I go back to why it's having Big Welcome Labrynth is a game changer, right? Big Welcome Labrynth, folks, can literally bounce because it's a trap card, it's a quick effect. Your monsters from the field into your hand, which means if you have skill drain active, you can still use their effects. That's right. So let's say you have Lady on the field, skill drain is active, and then you have Big Welcome, right? So let me just do that real quick. Uh, so here's Lady or Lovely, right? Skill drain is on the field. You use some trap card that removes a body. New chain link one Lovely. If you left it at that, it'll get negated by skill drain. But if you then chain link 2 Big Welcome, you special Lady, bounce Lovely to hand, you pop a card. So yeah, you can literally dodge your own skill drain thanks to Big Welcome. Like I'm telling you, this card is incredible. The fact that we got this card might have like thrust our deck into tier 1 status. I legitimately think that like Labrynth has the potential of being the best deck. So yeah, incredible. Compulsory can also get monsters off the field. Torrential, right, can also get your monsters off the field, right? Let's say you welcome into Ariana. Ariana chainlink 1, Torrential chainlink 2. Torrential takes Ariana off the field, and then her search goes off, right? And then it dodges skill drain. So there are ways to dodge skill drain, folks. Don't be afraid of running skill drain. It's literally a game-winning card. Like you go second against any deck that has a bunch of negates or interruptions. You skill drain, they're done. Fenrir can't banish. Unicorn can't banish and search. Like Barone can't negate, right? It just stops everything. Sprite can't do anything. Like it's just amazing. And no, we're not running too many Floodgates. People say, oh, you're running too many Floodgates. We're not. These are 6 cards, folks, out of a 40-card deck. That's less than 1 in 5. Fewer than 1 in 5. Sorry, fewer, not less. Fewer than 1 in 5 of our cards in our deck is a Floodgate. So I don't want to hear people saying, oh, you're breaking on too many Floodgates or you have too many Floodgates. You don't, right? So yeah. So ratios, very important because let's go over it. So we have 11 Labrynth cards in our 40-card deck. That means greater than 25% of the time of our opening hand. So on average, 25% of our opening hand. So 1 in 5, sometimes 2 in 5 cards will be Labrynth-related cards. On average, 1 in 5 of our opening hand cards will be one of these Floodgates, right? And the rest will be all the other cards that I showed you. So yeah, if you can open 1 Floodgate, 1 Labrynth card, and then 3 of the other cards, you're like in either the normal traps or the like the Lord and this, and then you're golden. In fact, the pot cards even make the math even better because it helps you thin your deck and like draw through your deck. So it's not exactly like a 40 card thing. So yeah, so these ratios are good. Again, the only thing I would cut, so we're done with the main deck, is maybe cut Compulse and maybe cut Waybridge. Other than that, I'm pretty convinced of all these other cards. Alright, so that is our main deck. Let us get into the extra deck. So the extra deck is not that interesting, let's be honest, because it's mostly monsters that you will never summon, or that you're just going to send off the graveyard off Dogmatic Punishment. So you know the Dogmatic Punishment, let's start with our Dogmatic Punishment cards. We have 3 copies of Elder Entity and Tis. Send this card to graveyard, you pop a card, targeted pop, so this gives you advantage off Entis. 1 copy of Garura, Wings of Resident Life. 1 copy of Wind Pegasus, Adding Lister. 1 copy of Cyframe Lord Omega. 1 copy of Meteorologic Aggregator. 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Arms, Bucephalus. Alright, so we have a total of 8 Dogmatic Punishment targets. Because remember, Dogmatic Punishment can be recycled every turn by Lovely. And also, we're using Pot of Extravagance, so we're going to banish a bunch, like, these at random, right? So Entis, 2500 attack, pops. Garura, 1500 attack, draws you a card. Omega, 2800 attack. You can bounce one of your cards into the deck or one of your opponent's cards into the deck from the graveyard. Wind Pegasus, 2300 attack. If your opponent destroys one of your cards, you can banish Pegasus to bounce one of their cards back into their deck. Meteorologic Aggregator. You send this card, you can negate 1 card your opponent controls. It doesn't have to be a monster. Just any card till the end of the turn. And then Tri-Brigade Arms Bucephalus. What's this about? This is a new card from Photon Hypernova. So it's a Tri-Brigade card. It's not very good. It's a super rare, whatever. But let's read what it says. It's 3,500 attack, so it's a big, allows for big punishment targets. I'm going to ignore the Tri-Brigade stuff and go straight to the last effect, which says, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Beast Square Wing Beast monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So if you send this card off punishment, you can then, on a new chain, send Garura, and Garura will draw you a card. So, because Garura is really hard to use as a punishment target because it's 1,500 attack, but if you send Bucephalus, you can then send Garura and get a draw. So, yeah, you're still netting. So yeah, we're running 8 punishment targets. The reason for this is because like you're probably gonna use these for punishment targets more than you'll use any other card in the extra deck. So, yeah, I'm happy with these targets. All right, let's get into our other cards. We're running the DDD package: DDD Wave King Kaiser, DDD Marksman King Tel, and DDD King Deus Machinex. So basically, this is a rank 4, and this card can rank up into these. Essentially, you make this with 2 Arianas, which doesn't come up often, but there were a few times where I had 2 Arianas. But usually, if you have 2 Arianas, that means that you're probably gonna win anyway, right? Because I guess you don't need the other cards. Yeah, so you overlay this, bam, 1. Overlay this, bam, 2. Overlay this, bam, 3. If Extravagance banished Marksman King, you can just go straight into this. But essentially, if you create a Deus Ex Machinex with 4 materials, there's a 3K beater. Let's see what this says. This says, once per chain, when a monster card your opponent controls activates its effects, quick effect. Either attach 2 materials in this card, destroy 1 dark contract control. And if you do, attach that opponent's card to this card's material. So basically, like, your opponent uses a monster effect. Detach, and then their card comes in as a material. Once per chain, not once per turn. Yeah, and then your opponent uses another monster effect. Detach these 2, attach that monster's material, and now if they use a 3rd monster effect, detach these 2, attach that, right? So you basically have like 3, like, you can use this card's effect basically like 3 times a turn, essentially, right? So yeah, it's really good. Again, doesn't come up often, and sometimes like maybe not at all because you just banish it off of Extrav, but it's fiends. So welcome Labrynth locks you out of you can only summon fiend monsters. So yeah, we just have this as like a in case it comes up type of thing. So it's pretty good. Next, some generic XCs that are just generically good. Baguska and Exciton Knight. They're both fiends that are rank 4s and generically good. Baguska goes without saying. Exciton Knight is like theoretically a board clear. If your opponent has more cards than you, destroy all other cards on the field, right? So yeah, these never came up. And then finally, our Link monsters. We have 1 copy of the Dark Charmer, 1 copy of Muckraker from the Underworld. So yeah, this is my Starlight Dark. All your monsters are dark. Maybe you want to just link them away to revive one of your opponent's dark monsters. That's really powerful. That's why Dark is here. Muckraker is a fiend. Her effect says, if a monster you control will be destroyed by a battlecraft, you contribute 1 fiend monster instead. So basically, if you have her, like you can protect one of your Labyrinth monsters from destruction by battle or card effect by just banishing her, right? But her other effect says, you can target 1 fiend monster in your graveyard except Muckraker. Discard a card if you do special summon that monster. And then you're locked into a fiend monster. So, if you have a Labyrinth card, you can use her to revive it. So, she never came up, but, just useful utility. Yeah, feel free to cut any of these cards. The extra deck's your oyster. It doesn't really matter what much, except maybe definitely want to see Entis right for your punishment. Alright, so that is our extra deck. Now for the side deck. The side deck is very spicy. We have 3 copies of Lava Golem, 3 copies of Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode. Yeah, so unfortunately I only have 2 Ghost Rares, but I am still in the market for the 3rd Ghost Rare. Yeah, it goes without saying why these are good. They clear your opponent's problematic monsters. Almost every game I side in for going second, I side these 6 in. Like, why not? There's except maybe Sword Soul. I might only put Lava Golems, right? But yeah, tribute 2 monsters, tribute 3 monsters. It's really good. Lava Golem is also a fiend and a level 8. I guess the level doesn't matter since we're not running rank 8s. But theoretically, we could run rank 8s. But yeah, if we Lava Golem their board and clear and get rid of Lava Golem goes to our graveyard, Lava Golem will be revivable through the Labrynth Field spell if we really want. So very important when siding against going second, right? Now, all 6 of these cards eat up your normal summon. You cannot normal summon if you use these. What does that mean? That means if you side in Lava Golem, you must, in my opinion, side out your Aries, and you must, in my opinion, side out your dualities, right? Because, again, these 4 cards are mutually exclusive with Lava Golem. You cannot use them on the same turn, so literally side these out, right? You need to put 3 in, take 3 out. You need to put 1 more in. You know, there you go. Like these should come out. Telling you, you don't need the Aries and the dualities or whatever, but you don't want a brick, right? You want to go second and still have clear their board, but also have other plays you can make. Like if you have these 3 in hand and you clear their board with Lava Golem, you can't use these 2, so they're bricks. Technically, a duality can be used with Sphere mode, so that's not a big deal. But Lava Golem, like you have to, I think you should just take these out if you want to use it like the most effective way possible. So let's recap. We already have 2 evenly matches in the main deck. If we side 6 of these, that's 8 going second cards that are blowouts, right? That you'll just completely wipe out your opponent's board. So that's already 8, right? And by the way, we're keeping Pot of Extravagance, right? These cards can also help you draw into these, so as well as like your evenly match. So yeah, pretty good odds you're gonna see one of these. It's very rare that you don't. But yeah, these are MVP cards. Do not cut them. Do not cut them. Period. Like just have 3 of each. You will not regret it. Let's see, anything else I want to mention. Don't forget Sphere mode. Returns to your field on your opponent's end phase. Also, it cannot be targeted for attacks or your opponent's card effects, which means if it does return to your field, you can literally just put in defense mode and just sit on it, and they can't attack it or target it. So, yeah, it can like protect you, and you can like stall out a little bit. Cool. So that is it for those cards. Next, for the side deck, we are running 2 copies of Witch's Strike. That's right. Witch's Strike is back on the menu, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, how I've missed this card. Now that Tear is gone, because remember, one of the reasons we took this out against Tear, and by the way, this could have been used against Tear, right? They can make Burn the Fleur. Crime is negate. Tearlaments, Rukalos can negate special summons, right? There were definitely ways you could have used this against Tear, but the problem is, so Witch's Strike, let's read what it says for those of you who don't know. If your opponent negates the normal summon special of monsters or the activation of a card or effect, destroy all cards your opponent controls and in their hand. Right? So you literally like blow out your opponent's board and hand if you can flip this. So this is a side deck, obviously, and it's very format dependent. Now, if you're against Sword Soul and they put up a Backrow the Fleur, you can set this card and like other cards, right? On their turn, you goes and match. Backrow negate goes and match. New chain, bam! Destruction. So, yeah, Witch's Strike is insane. Side this in against in the Labrynth Mirror matchup. They're almost guaranteed to have Judgments or Solemn Strikes. I assume, especially Judgments. They just Judgment, pay half their life points, and like, okay, bam, dead. Hand and field gone, right? Now that Tear's banned, you might see a lot more adventure engines, maybe adventure Cashier, maybe adventure Synchro, maybe whatever. Guess what Griffin Rider does? It negates the activation. So this can be used against Ghost Spell, because Ghost Spell negates the activation. And by the way, they can Ghost Spell, you're a big welcome. They cannot be used against Ash, so don't try to use this against Ash or you'll look like a fool. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, every time I side this card in, and I only side it in if the matchup makes sense, right? It's very matchup dependent. I win. And I see this card, I win. And guess what, folks? This is a normal trap, which means it can be searched off Lady. It can trigger Welcome. It can trigger Lady. It can trigger Ariana. It can trigger the field spell. It can trigger Welcome in the graveyard to set itself. And you can search it off Trap Trick, folks. That's right. Remember that card I told you about, Trap Trick? Let's do that same scenario again, right? You're against Sword Soul. They go second. They set up a board with Backrow the Fleur, right? You set Trap Trick. You set a bunch of other cards. Assuming you have a space 3, right? Their end turn, their draw phase. You flip Goes and Match. They Chainlink 1 goes a match. Chainlink 2 Barone to negate goes a match. Chainlink 3 Trap Trick. Banish Witch's Strike, set Witch's Strike. So Witch's Strike is on the field. Barone negates goes a match. New chain, Witch's Strike. GG. Like, it's searchable off of Trap Trick, folks. Play this. I'm telling you. You will not regret it. Some people like to talk shit about this card. It only works in trap decks, and it only works in certain formats. So, yeah, this would obviously not... I obviously didn't run this when Tier was running rampant for obvious reasons that I've already explained. But yeah, this card is cracked. It's absolutely cracked. Play it. If you side it in the correct matchup and you see this card, you're like guaranteed to win. I'm not even joking. So, and guess what? Witch's Strike is good going second too, folks. Like the example I just used with Barone, could be Griffin Rider, whatever. That was in a going second scenario, which means technically we have 6 plus the 2 evenly matches, 8, 11 cards for going second. Sorry, 10. I can't count. And then Trap Trick can search into this. So, 12? Like, this is a god card, I'm telling you. Alright. Next, we have 1 copy of D-Barrier, 1 copy of Eradicate Epidemic Virus. Only 1 copy because they're both searchable off Lord of the Heavy Prison, and they can be searched off Lady Labrynth. And they can be recycled by Lovely Labrynth. So, this card was sort of MVP. I played a branded Bestial player today. I used D-Barrier called Fusions. I think they played like, I forget if it was Poly or if it was branded red. I chained D-Barrier. Like, nope. And then on their turn, I had Lovely on the field. I literally used Lovely to reset D-Barrier, and that was game. Against the Sword Soul, they did like their full board. Like, they put all their synchro materials on the field. I flipped D-Barrier, called synchros. Their turn was over. And then I had Lovely recycles D-Barrier. Yeah. This never came up today, but playtesting online, this came up a lot. This card also help you win the Labrynth Mirror matchup. I mentioned that other cards that help you win the Mirror matchup, evenly matched, helps you. The Field Spell helps you. This card helps you as well because you flip it, call traps, and then you're done. By the way, folks, remember that card, Lord of the Heavy Prison? It's a dark monster with that qualifies for virus. So what you can literally do is, like, on your opponent's end phase, Lord summons itself, set virus to your field, and on your draw phase you immediately virus, tribute Lord, and call spells or traps or whatever. So yeah, Lord can literally bring you the virus. Like, it's searchable, right? So that's why we're only running 1 copy of each. Obviously, this was also amazing against Runics. If you ever have a Runic matchup, Sky Striker matchup, it's amazing. Haven't really seen any Runics today or at my locals, but theoretically, you could also side this in against Branded Bestial, like Branded Bestial, Branded Despial, whatever. They're very dependent on spell cards. So, like, if they Eluber, search a spell, and you hit them with this, yeah, call spells and their turn is over, pretty much. Yeah, so 2 really good 1-ups. D-Bear not as good going second, but can be good. Virus almost exclusively for going first, unless you're in a Labrynth Mirror matchup. Yeah. Next 2 cards, we're playing the Spice, 2 copies of Imperial Iron Wall. That's right. So for those of you who watch my Master Duel content knows about this card. Floodgate that says cards cannot be banished. Period. So yeah, this card is good against Kashtira. Fenrir can't banish. Number 89 can't banish. Like Arise Heart can't banish. Kashtira Tearlaments can't banish. Rise Heart can't banish. Going first, you just flip this. They just can't banish. Sword Soul, Tenny Engine turned off. Chisao turned off. Taya can't activate. What else? Changying cannot protect itself from destruction by card effects. Qixing Longyan cannot banish. Right. This card has so many applications. It's crazy. Branded Bestials cannot use their effects. Branded in red cannot fuse because it needs to banish. Tragedy cannot banish itself to search. Branded Retribution cannot banish itself to set, right? Or to recycle. Allure of Darkness. They can't activate Allure of Darkness, if this is on the field. It's just Mirror Jade. Literally can't do anything. Can't even pay cost. Can't even send a card to graveyard for cost. Albion can't fuse, right? This just turns off so much stuff. Now, before y'all go crazy, I am aware that this also has some anti-synergy with our deck. What do I mean? So, from our deck, with Imperial Iron Wall, we cannot use Big Welcome's graveyard effect to banish itself to bounce a card. Can't do that under Big Welcome. We cannot use Pot of Extravagance anymore under Big Welcome. I'm aware of that. Or, sorry, under Iron Wall. I'm aware of that. We cannot Trap Trick under under Iron Wall. I'm aware of that. However, you obviously we can't evenly match anymore. You can play around your own Iron Wall as follows. So if your opening hand consists of an Iron Wall plus, let's say, a Pot of Extravagance, right? So it's all about the timer, right? So turn 1 you use Pot, turn 2 and then you set this. Turn 2 you actually activate this. So this only matters if you activate this and then you draw a Pot of Extra for turn on a future turn. Otherwise, most of the time you're seeing this in your opening hand and like it doesn't really conflict, right? Similarly, Trap Trick and Imperial Iron Wall can be set together on the same turn. And one thing you can do is, like, let's say you've gone through other traps, chain link 1 Imperial Iron Wall, chain link 2 Trap Trick, right? So on the same chain you do your banish and then you set another card and then Trap Trick stops the banishes, right? So you can play around with it. The anti-synergy is not that much, but the point is, like, it's like it hurts your opponent more than it hurts you, right? That's what matters. As long as it hurts your opponent more than it hurts you, this card is worth it. In fact, this card is low-key really good because you guessed it, Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Now, let's read what Lord of the Heavenly Prison says, the second effect. If a set spell trap card is activated, special on this card, and then if you activate this card with reveal, you can reveal it and set one spell trap directly from your deck, but banish it during the end phase of the next turn. So whatever Lord of the Heavenly Prison searches will be banished by the end phase of the following turn. So that means, in general, normally, in a vacuum, Lord of the Heavenly Prison should not be used to search Floodgates, because the Floodgate will immediately go away, right? Because it will banish on the end phase. However, Imperial Iron Wall says cards cannot be banished, which means you can use Lord to set Imperial Iron Wall from the deck, and then on the following turn, immediately activate Imperial Iron Wall, and this card will stay on the field forever. I did that against a Branded Bestial player I played today, where I knew he was playing Branded Bestial. I summoned Lord, set Imperial Iron Wall, and then flipped it. And guess what? They couldn't do anything, right? They couldn't even banish Branded Opening from the graveyard to protect their fusion monster from card destruction. Like, this card is cracked, yo. Also, let's say you already have Lord, or you already have Iron Wall, right? If Iron Wall's on the field and you special Lord, you can literally search a Floodgate, like Goes and Match, and it will stay on the field because Imperial Iron Wall will protect it from banishing. But wait, there's more. So Imperial Iron Wall also protects you from Cosmic Cyclones, your opponent's evenly matched, Sprite Smashers, anything Kashtira related. It's just Mirror Jade. It's just incredible. Like, sometimes you side this in if you have the room for it. If going first, if you suspect your opponent might go evenly match or Cosmic Cyclones against you, which is very popular nowadays, evenly match and Cosmic Cyclones siding in, right? Just side this, like, if you have the room for it, of course, side this in, and now you have extra protection against Backrow Clear. This is insanely good. Like, it's not for every matchup, but in a lot of matchups right now, this card is good. Why is it only 2 of? Because we didn't have any more room to fit the third copy, but also, like I said, searchable off Lord of the Heavenly Prison. And honestly, I never felt like I needed the third copy. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, last 3 cards of our side deck, very predictable. 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. This is just more Backrow Protection. So, your opponent uses Lightning Storm, evenly matched. This will protect you, right? Your opponent summons Denko Sekka. You can actually negate the normal summon of Denko Sekka using Judgment, right? So you have a lot of Backrow Protection options, folks. You have 3 Lord. Like, let's just go over it, right? You have 3 Lords of Heavenly Prison, 3 Judgments, right? You have 2 Imperial Iron Walls, which protects from banishing, right? So no cosmics, no evenly matched, and you have again this is assuming going first scenario, 4 pop cards which can all draw you into these cards. So you really shouldn't be being blown out by Backrow. I'm trying to remember today. So in today's locals, the only time anyone hit me with Backrow clear was I got hit by a Harpy's Feather Duster. Because I didn't have Lord, I didn't have any of these cards. Unfortunately, I got a little unlucky, but I still won that game anyway. So who cares? Because I chained, I think I had set D barrier and like Lady Welcome and Big Welcome, and I literally chained all 3 to Harpies. Right? I think it was like chainlink 1 Harpies, chainlink 2 Welcome, chainlink 3 Ash. Well, no, what was it? No, no, okay, I remember. Chainlink 1 Harpies, Chainlink 2 was D barrier. I called. I think it was I forgot what the matchup was. It might have been Synchros or whatever. Chainlink 3 Welcome. Chainlink 4 Ash. Chainlink 5 Solemn Strike. I'd say, all right, they cleared my board, but now they're locked out of a summoning. I have a Labrynth on my field. Like, yeah, I ended up being okay, but yeah, I did not like. I didn't have to worry about Cosmics. Oh, the Sword Soul player cited Cosmics against me, but I had this, so yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, your back row protection is is fairly good, and honestly, there most people are citing for the Kashtira matchup anyway, so you're not going to be seeing that much back row clear to begin with. But yeah, so honestly, I think like you're in a good shape. Like you're not going to need more than this, and if you're going first and you're still getting blown out by back row, I think you just got unlucky and just didn't see these cards. Like I don't know what else to tell you. So yeah, that is the side deck and our full deck profile. Yeah, a few but very important changes from my last deck profile, right? Um, Obviously, like a lot of new cards and a lot of effects to keep track of now, right? But yeah, this I went undefeated. Very first locals back. I'm gonna go on Wednesday. I think I'll go undefeated there. We'll see. Saturday, my guess is probably the most competitive because I think it'll be the largest of the locals, and so more opportunities for me um, to play like and possibly lose, right? But yeah, I think this is a good starting spot. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing with this playtesting, right? Might make those changes that I mentioned. Um, Also, I do plan on going to YCS LA. So YCS LA is on April 1st. I'm not going to Vegas because you need like 2 people, and YCS Vegas is a little too soon, right? But yeah, YCS LA definitely want to go to, and I'm not by then my deck will probably be different, but I'd say like most of the core stuff and ratios that you saw here today will probably be similar to the one I take to YCSLA, with obviously like changes based on playtesting or just like how I've seen the format evolve until April. So yeah, trust me, like you run this deck profile, you will win. You will win, and you will probably win more than the other Labyrinth players who are playing crap cards like Temple of Kings or like Ariane or Stove Torby or Torby Stove. Like just don't bother. Trust me, this deck will be more successful than whatever other BS profile that you see that has like all those weird cards. I think there was a lab player at my locals who unironically had 3 Temple of Kings and like 3 Gravedigger Trap Hole. I'm just like, what are you doing? Temple of Kings is not a good card. First of all, before anyone asks, it's not a good card. Why? One, it takes up a back row slot. So if you activate Temple Kings, that means you're only ever going to be setting 4. You're not going to be setting 5, right? And if you use Trap Trick, which requires an open slot, that's bad. If you use Lady, that requires an open slot, that's bad, right? Limiting yourself to like you're literally using Kashtira Shangri-La on yourself by unnecessarily getting rid of one of your zones, right? Also, Temple of Kings does nothing by itself. What does that mean? That means Temple of Kings allows you to activate a trap every like the turn you set it once per turn. Again, it's the same argument as the clock. How is that? So instead of setting 5 pass and you have 5 interruptions or plays to make on your opponent's turn, you activate Temple Kings, you set 4 pass, and you have 4 interruptions or 4 plays that you can make, right? Like, what's the point of that? It just seems pointless. Like, and like I honestly have no idea where this Temple of Kings card, like, why this became such a thing because nobody played in Eldritch, nobody played in Altergeist, nobody played in Trap Trick, and those decks were perfectly fine without it. Like, why does Labrynth all of a sudden need this Temple of Kings card, which is not searchable, other than like Offlord, and even that will go away after a turn, right? It's just not a good card. It's not a good card. Trust me, you will not miss Temple of Kings. You will not wish that. Oh, I wish I had Temple of Kings in this situation. No, you'll be fine. And like the thing about trap decks is like most of the plays you're making are not on turn one. It's on turn two, right? So being able to activate one of your cards on turn one, what's the point, right? If like all the plays are going to be on your opponent's turn, or most of the plays are going to be on your opponent's turn anyway, right? Especially if like your opponent has negates or card effects that are once per turn. Oh, on turn one you use Temple of Kings and activate a set trap. Your opponent chains something, and the next turn they can chain this, they can use the same effect because it's once per turn, right? Whereas if you put everything and then in turn two, right? Yeah, they can maybe change something, but then like you can chain another thing and stop that first chain from doing right. So you just have more opportunities of like combining these card effects like without Temple of Kings. I really don't see any reason why you would ever run Temple of Kings. I honestly can't. It doesn't get you, it doesn't net you anything, right? Like it's a neg one pretty much. Like, oh, you play a card and it's just there, not doing anything. Oh, like you get to let you again. It's a card that is only good, or that is sorry, not good. It only does something if you have another card. If you top deck it and you have no other cards, it's a brick. It does nothing, right? So what's the point? Anyway, let's see what else. I told you about side decking options. Yeah, Lava Golems go in, dualities and Arianas come out. Very important. Other than that, yeah, I think you're good to go. Hope you all learned something. Hope you enjoyed. And finally, I put this deck list out. Like I said, probably sooner than I would have preferred, but I think we have a good thing going that we can go forward. And then whatever changes I make, I'll probably make another video or maybe just like comment on it real quick or something. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. See you on the next video. Peace.